going to pick up where we were last week. We started all of that algebra last week. We started doing some distribution. We did some working with our different terms. And so the first thing we're going to do is we are going to just kind of revise a little bit of that with this question here. Okay, now some of you might find this a bit tricky, and that's okay. What I want you to do though is I want you to go through this all by yourselves first, and then I promise I will go through it step by step afterwards. If you are needing a little bit of help while you're working on it, you're welcome to ask questions and I can try and give you some guidance. So if you have like a specific question, you're welcome to ask. But I've written some important things in this little red box for you. So first thing, don't forget to check your signs. So what I mean by that is, remember, a negative times a negative is a positive, things like that. Okay. Think SNV, which does not stand for sex, nudity, and violence. What does SNV stand for us? You can tell me.
Signs in
Signs, and then
signs, variables in. I forgot what N is for.
what is N?
Numbers.
Yes, there we go. Thank you, Jasmine. Okay, signs, numbers, variables. Okay, so don't forget your signs, numbers, variables. That is what's going to help us remember everything. Okay, and variables. And the first thing this shouldn't be 4, 5, 6, it should be 1, 2, 3. First thing we do is we identify our terms. The second thing we do is we simplify each term. And then the third thing we do is we add and subtract like terms. So I'm not going to do this for you, but I do want to ask a quick question before we get going. How many terms does this expression have? How many terms does this expression have? Write your answers in the chat for me. Watobe.
Ma'am, it has 2 terms.
It definitely has 2 terms. Excellent. We've got 1 term over here and then we've got 1 term over there. Okay, so I have done that first step for you. I've identified your terms. Your job now is you are going to simplify each term and then you are going to add or subtract like terms, and we're going to work through this. So work on this on your side. When you have an answer, post your answer in the chat for us and we will go through it as soon as the majority are finished. Okay. Watobe, I'm just going to lower your hand because you've answered. Okay. It's okay, Owetsu, don't worry. The important thing is that you're here now. We're just working through this question. It's okay, Sebi. Just try and work through this question that's on the board at the moment.
Ma'am?
Yes, sweetheart, don't forget to put up your hand when you want to talk, but how can I help?
Are we allowed to speak out our answers or we'll write them on the chat?
I think at the moment, write them in the chat for me, okay?
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, we've got some answers coming in. I think some of you may have fallen for my trap, but we'll see. You know I love my traps. I'm going to do something which might make you see what the trap is. This might help some of you. We'll see. Our answers are all over the place. We will have to see who is right and who is wrong. Who made some good choices along the way. It's okay if you, I think I might be with sound. Yolanda, do you mind helping Inka Teko with sound? I think that might be what's happening over there.
Yes, we are busy with that.
Thank you. Okay, we've got lots of different answers coming in. There are some where there are some things that I like and some where there are other things that I don't like. I don't think I've seen anyone have 100% what I'm looking for. Oh, no, I'm wrong. There is someone who has 100% what I was equal. Just give it your best go. Oh, Mila, sorry, I see your hand over there. So my advice in this situation would do the FOIL part first, and then you're going to distribute the negative sign. Okay, I'm going to give you guys 1 more minute. Oh, top 3 for the quiz. It's going to come on Thursday. I thought let's keep all the quiz things on Thursday because you do your quizzes on Thursday. So it'll be at the beginning of our lesson on Thursday. But I promise it's there. Okay, let's try and work through this. Let's try to do this step by step. So first thing we did was we identified our terms. Okay, so that's the first thing we did. Next thing we're doing is we are going to simplify each term. So I'm going to do distribution over there. I'm going to say that -2 times the x, which is -2x, and a negative times a negative, so that's my signs, a negative times a negative is a positive, and 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, so that's my first part. I'm going to keep this minus sign. I'm going to keep it there, and then I'm going to do everything inside this big purple bracket. Okay, so I'm going to do my FOIL now. Who thinks they can tell me, who remembers what FOIL stands for? Remember to put your hands up if you want to answer. What does FOIL stand for? Tiana, what does FOIL stand for?
First, outer, inner, last. I
Yes,
think.
first, outer, inner, last. Okay, awesome. Okay, so we take our first term and we multiply it by our first term. So x times x, which gives us x squared. Then we take our outer term and we multiply it by our outer term. So x times -1 is -x. Then we do our inners. So we say 5 times x, which is positive 5x. And then we do our lasts. So positive times a negative is a negative. 5 times 1 is 5. And so that is what we land up with. Okay, I'm just going to keep it in a curved bracket now. So it's a little bit less scary. Okay, so if you are on this track so far, this is how I want you to sort of keep notes of your marks. If you got those 2 terms, I want to give yourself 1 mark. And if you got everything inside this bracket, I want to give yourself 1 mark like that as well. It's okay, don't worry if you're late, guys. I know load shedding is a real problem at the moment. Okay, so that's where we are now. Next step is we need to distribute this negative into all of those terms. Okay, you could simplify what's in that bracket first, but let's distribute. So I have -2x plus 4. Now I'm taking this negative in. So -x squared, and negative times a negative is a positive, so positive x. The negative times a positive is a negative, -5x. The negative times a negative is a positive, so positive 5. Then we get to this point. Now we have simplified each term. Last step, we want to add and subtract our like terms. So that means we need to find our like terms. I've only got 1x squared. It's all by itself. Okay. My x's, I've got -2x, I've got positive x, and I've got -5x. And then my numbers, I've got +4 and +5. So I have -x squared. Now I'm going to look at the blue ones. So my x's, I've got -2 plus 1, which is -1, and then -5, which gives me -6x. And now I'm going to look at my greens. So 4 plus 5 gives me 9. That would be our full answer here. Yay, Jasmine. Tell me how this question went. Tell me where things went right. Tell me where things went wrong. Tell me how this question went. Amber, yeah.
I've got a question.
Sure, ask away.
My maths teacher at school said something about the answer being in descending order,
Yes.
something like that. So does it have to be?
Okay, so what you're looking at here, this is
The
in
exponents.
descending order. Yeah, so my x squared is first, and then my normal x, and then I have no x. So that at the moment is in descending order. It doesn't have to be. It's not wrong if it's not in descending order, but as mathematicians, we like to be fancy, and so to be fancy, we put it in descending order.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sure. Okay, let's see what's happening in this chat. Okay. 7 out of 10 Simpiwe is amazing. Good, Jasmine. The times 2 was confusing and the negative and the yes, it was. Okay, we have to be careful with our negatives and positives. Yeah, it's okay, guys. Yes, the negative that was outside this bracket is sneaky. It's a sneaky negative, and we have to be very careful about it. The thing is, if it was a positive, it wouldn't have changed anything. So we wouldn't have to stress. But because it was a negative, it changed everything. Okay, Buntle, how can I help?
I get confused when it comes to the positive signs and the negative signs. How do you identify them?
How do you identify the positives and the negatives in which situations, sweetheart?
The second, okay, when you're done with the second method, for the third method, I don't understand how you turn it into the negative or positive.
To get from this line over here to this line.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that's where I recommend just using your calculator. Grab your calculator. Once you have found all of the things that are like terms and you've highlighted them or you've circled them and you know which ones are grouped, you can just look at the numbers. So in your calculator, you can say -2, and then you can say +1, and then you can say -5. And that will give you the answer for x. You just need to be careful that you write the variable that's with it. But whatever sign is in front of it, like this over here, that's a -1x². Whatever sign is there, that's what we're doing to it. So here, we're saying +4, and we're adding another 5, because that's the sign that's in front of the 5.
So do you have to use different colors just to help you to find out which are like terms and unlike terms?
Exactly. So we just use the colors to find which ones are the same as each other, so we know which ones we're allowed to add.
Thank you so much.
No problem. Tiana, how can I help?
Ma'am, like the second one. How do we make the third row? Like, did you use the -2?
Yeah, so for the third row, what I did was I took this negative sign here and I multiplied it into everything. So I said negative times x², negative times -x, negative times 5x.
Oh, thank you,
And
ma'am.
that's how we got that line. Okay. Cool. Nice job, guys. Don't worry, we're gonna be carrying on with stuff like this today. We're just gonna be looking at binomials that are squared. So it's gonna be a similar vibe. It'll be good practice. This is a good start. It's nice. Okay. Squaring binomials. Now, my moral of the story with squaring binomials is in this little speaker bubble situation over here. And this is, I cannot say this enough. I know that people don't want to do it because it takes a little bit longer. But when in doubt, write it out. If you don't know what you're doing, write out what you're doing so that you don't make a mistake. So if we look at this question over here, I've got a minus 2 in brackets, and all of that is squared. What do you think the answers are? Tell me what you think the answers are, and I'm going to write all of the answers down here. I'm going to see which one is right. Tell me what you think my answers are going to be. And there are no wrong answers in this situation because I just want to know what you think. Give me some answers coming through that chat. What do you think my answer to a minus 2 squared is? Unati, what do you think my answer is?
Ma'am, I say you write out the bracket twice.
That is exactly what I'm going to force everyone to do. So you are reading my mind, Unati. Well done. Tiana, where did you go? I saw Tiana there.
No, ma'am, I have to say the same thing.
Oh, you were going to say the same thing. Okay. So at the moment, I've got 2a minus 4, and then I've got a squared minus 4. Do we have any other answers that are coming in here? I've got a squared minus 4a plus 4. Is there anything that you're not seeing that you think the answer to this would be? Okay. Songy also just reading my mind. Okay. So I'm seeing some repeats of these answers now. Okay. So the thing that's important to know is that a lot of what people are writing over here that you think the answers are, those are very, very normal mistakes. Okay. So a lot of the things that you're seeing here is a very normal mistake, and you have good company with you, so you mustn't feel bad. There is only one right answer in this whole thing, and it's actually this dude over here. Okay, and so now you must be thinking, where on earth is that negative 4a coming from? But it's coming from what Unati was telling us, is that we need to rewrite that bracket, because we're not saying this does not mean a squared and then minus 2 squared. That is not what this means. Okay, what this is saying is we want to square that whole bracket. That whole bracket is being written out twice. So we wanted to have a minus 2 and then again a minus 2. The whole bracket is being written out twice. Make sure that they are identical to each other. So they both need to have negatives. Okay. When we get to this point over here, then we can just use our FOIL that we've learned. Mila, how can I help?
Ma'am, isn't it going to be like a squared plus 4 since you FOIL it? It's going to
Yes.
be with those two answers.
So I'm definitely going to get the plus 4, but you're not going to get that minus 4a. With the FOIL, you'll get the minus 4a. You'll see now. I promise. I'll show you through. So let's do a FOIL with this. So let's do our first times our first. That's going to give us a squared. Our outers, a times negative 2 is negative 2a. Our inners, negative 2 times a is negative 2a. And then our last, a negative and a negative is a positive. And then we get a 4. And then when we do that, we're going to find that we've got these two, which are like terms. They are the same as each other. And so when we add them together, negative 2 minus another 2 is going to give us negative 4a. And that's where that negative 4 comes from. So, moral of the story with these questions is, when in doubt, write it out. Okay, there is a quick way to do this, which I will show you a little bit later on. Some of you may already know it from class, or we spoke about it when we did algebra early in the year. But for the moment, I'm just going to encourage you to write it out. And I will show you the quick way as we move through this course. Okay. All right. Let's see if you can try one by yourselves. I'm going to keep this up here so that you can see it as an example. And give example 2 a try for me. And tell me what my answer is going to be. You guys are smashing it today. Well done. Funati, yes.
Ma'am, can I please answer?
You can. Tell me what to do.
Ma'am, so you write the bracket again twice.
Good. Okay.
So you take the x in the first bracket and times it by the other x, which gives you x squared.
Good.
And the first x again times the 3.
Good.
Which is plus 3x.
Good.
And you take the 3 in the first bracket and times it by the x in the other bracket, which gives me plus 3x.
Mm-hmm.
And the 3 times the 3, which is plus 9.
Good. Now what do I have?
Ma'am, now you look for the like terms.
Good. So what's my final answer?
X squared plus 6x plus 9.
Beautiful. Well done. Excellent. 100%. And that was so beautifully explained and spoken through. How are we feeling with this so far, guys? Didn't how can I help? If yeah,
Hi,
here we go.
ma'am.
Hi.
So my teacher taught me how to do it in a much easier
The quick way.
form. Instead of the foil.
You're
Sorry?
absolutely. Are you talking about the quick way to get from here to here?
Yeah.
Yes, you absolutely can do that, and we will talk about it in this lesson. Just getting everyone comfortable, and then I promise I'll show you that one as well.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
No problem. You wrote a 6 instead of a 9. No, you banana head. Yeah, you're on fire because you've been coming to your maths classes. Okay, nice. Let's bring in some numbers. Let's bring in some numbers. I'm singing to you because I know you love my voice so much. You're welcome. Oh, is that 11 out of 10 for me? Thanks, Jasmine. That's very sweet. Okay, let's try this. Let's try this example 3. Be careful of your numbers. That is my advice. Just remember that you are multiplying. You're not adding. Sibakle, yeah.
Ma'am, may I say the answer or should I wait?
Just wait a little bit. But I will call on you as soon as we've got some answers coming in the chat. Okay.
Okay.
Just gonna write the first step over here, just so we can save a bit of time going through it. So Tibet's, we just be careful because you losing your middle term.
Renati has a question.
I think these were to answer. Unati, was your hand up to answer or was it to ask a question?
Ma'am, I wanted to ask a question.
Oh, sure. What do you need help with?
So, ma'am, in the first bracket, right, it's negative 3b.
Yeah.
So when I times that negative 3b by the 2a, does it matter in what order I put the variables in?
No, so it can be BA or AB. Same thing.
Thank you, ma'am.
No problem. Bontle, do you have a question? Sebi?
Hi, ma'am. I have a question.
Sure.
For the sums for 2a and 3b, do you first multiply 2a and 3b together, then add those variables together, like saying whatever sign number it is, saying ab?
Yes. So yes, exactly. So you would say 2 times negative 3, which is negative 6, and then a times b, which is ab.
Okay, thank you so much.
No problem. Okay, Sibakle, we are all yours. Take us away. Talk us through this question.
Okay, so ma'am already wrote it out twice. So then you do the FOIL method and say 2a times 2a, which gives you 4a squared.
Beautiful.
And then you say the 2a times negative 3b gives you negative 6ab.
Good.
Then you do the negative 3b times 2a, which also gives you negative 6ab.
Good.
And then negative 3b times negative 3b will give you positive 9b squared.
Beautiful.
And then it's 4a squared minus 12ab plus 9b squared.
Beautiful. Well done. 100%. Answered gorgeously. Yes. That's even a party hat smiley face and a bow. Okay. So the most important thing that came with this one is that sometimes we get a bit confused with our signs. Now, if you wrote this one as negative 6ba, that's also totally fine, guys. It means the same thing and they are still like terms. So you can still add them. It means the same thing. Okay. Let's quickly talk about how we could do this the quick way. So some of you may have already learned this. If you are still wanting to write it out as 2 brackets, I encourage that because you're less likely to make a mistake. I'm just showing this for those of you who are interested. Okay, I'm just going to go all the way back up to the top and slowly I'll work back down to this one. So when we do it the quick way, basically what we see is when we have a bracket like that, so we have a minus 2 all squared.
Wait,
Oh,
That one.
yeah, wait.
hey guys, just remember to keep yourselves on
Yeah.
mute.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Okay, so if we have a bracket like this and it's all squared, if we're trying to do it a quick way,
Ma'am,
what we do, yes, hello.
ma'am, I wanted to ask from the last sum how you got negative 12 AB.
Okay, when we get back to that sum, I'll go through it with you. Okay, Mila?
Okay.
Okay, so when we have a bracket like this and we're squaring it, if we want to write it out twice, we absolutely can, and we are always guaranteed to get the right answer, so we don't have to stress, okay? If we want to do it the quick way, what we do is we square the first term, so we square that first term, we double the product, so product means multiply, so we say a times negative 2, and then we double it. So we say negative 2a times 2, which would be negative 4a, and then we square the last term. So negative 2 squared is plus 4. So what this is we square the first one. So we square the first, then we double the product, and then we square the last term. Okay, and you don't have to remember this if this is not something that's sort of going on happily in your head. It's not something you need to remember, because if you write it out, you always will get to the right answer. It's just a way that when you get more comfortable with these, you'll find things like this a little bit easier. So for example, if we have a look at this one, okay, we've got x plus 3 all squared. If we do the step again, we square the first one. So x times x, which is x squared. My product would be 3x, and we're doubling it. So we say 3x times 2, which is 6x, and then we square our last one, which would be 9. Okay, so we square the first, double the product, square the last. Then we deal with these questions, then we'll go to the third one. Bontle, how can I help?
When it comes to like the second method or like the second step, why do you put like 2 brackets? I get confused there.
So as in this step over here, why we're writing these 2 brackets.
Yes.
Okay, so it's saying that that whole bracket, so everything in that bracket is squared. So the reason we're writing it out twice is because there are 2 of them. It's like if I was to write x squared, for example, that means x times x. If I was to write 5 squared, that means 5 times 5. So what this is saying is that it's this whole bracket times that whole bracket again, because it's squares. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's have a look at this one now. So it's the same idea. So we take, I've got 2a minus 3b. We square our first. The 2a squared would be 4a squared. Our product would be minus 6ab. So double our product would be minus 12ab. And then we square our last, which is positive 9b squared. So if you're feeling confident, I think what would be a good start is for you to try this method as a beginning point. And then if you do it the long way and you're not getting the same answer, try and see where you're going wrong. But I think it's a good thing to try. Okay. Who is saying my drawing is looking decapitated? Who is this? Belinda? My bow does not make it look decapitated. The bow looks like he's having a happy party time. Hurtful. Hurtful. Okay. We've got one
Ma'am?
more like, yes, hi.
I still don't know how you got negative 12 AB.
Oh, sorry. Yes, no, I just totally forgot. Sorry. So over here we have this negative 6AB, and then we've got this negative 6AB, and negative 6 minus another negative 6 is going to give us the negative 12. Yeah. So all we're doing there is we are adding our like terms. So those two are the same as each other. So we have the minus 6a. So think about it like this. If you just had
Wouldn't a negative plus a negative be a positive?
But we're not plussing them, sweethearts. We have a negative here, and then we're minusing another one. So like if this is on number line and this was negative 6, we're not adding 6, we're minusing another 6. And that's why we have negative.
Oh, okay.
Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Kumo, can I help?
Ma'am, I just wanted to ask because I see that the short method is a bit confusing. It's not a need that we need to use it, right?
Absolutely not. 100% not. I always, even to like my top AP students, I always encourage to write it out because it's very easy to make a mistake when you're trying to do it quickly. But it's your choice. So like if you feel comfortable with it, you're welcome to use it. I think writing it out is always the smarter choice.
Okay, thank you, ma'am, so much.
Ma'am.
Yes.
I'm stopping me from going on, but anyway, the negative 12AB in the shorter version.
Yeah.
Why? If it's doubling the product, why
our product is negative 6AB, and if we times that by 2, which is doubling, it would be negative 12.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Okay. Can I call this one quits? Shamaine? If you're talking, you need to unmute. Okay. All right, I'm going to move down.
Can I ask, ma'am?
Yes.
So to find the answer, we have to, can I ask, is negative times negative or is negative plus negative, ma'am?
So a negative times a negative is a positive, but in this case, we're just saying minus 6, and then we're minusing another 6. So we're just saying minus 6 minus 6.
Okay, so to get the answer, we have to say negative 6AB, negative 6AB. Is that
and
so?
That's going to give us the negative 12.
Okay, thanks, ma'am.
No problem. Okay, so now this one over here, what we're going to do is basically we're going to do the same thing, except we're now going to bring this 2 in. Okay, so we're going to start. This is sort of like our first question we started this night off where we had that minus sign and it kind of got in the middle of things. This is a very similar idea. So we first are going to write that 2, and then we're going to write this bracket out twice. Okay, so we're going to write those 2 brackets out next to each other. And then we have to do this FOIL first. You can take your 2 and I'll show you the second option. So option 1 is you do that FOIL first and then you take in your 2 at the end. Second option is we can take that 2 in the beginning, but we have to be very careful with our signs. So my advice is to try and start with the FOIL. Yeah, I thought it would make you guys proud to have that middle term. So start with your FOIL here, get it so that you have 3 terms, and then take your 2 in and see how that goes. I'm actually not going to even show you the second way because this is better long term when the questions get harder. Jasmine, how can I help?
I got the answers all right, but I don't understand how I can word it out to answer. That's why I don't raise my hand to answer.
That's okay, Jasmine. If you're getting it right on your side, then I'm happy with it. So I'm not stressed. You'll slowly learn how to say the words mathematically over time. It will come, I promise. Yeah, I'm not going to do this whole thing. I'm just going to do it in steps for those of you who are still working on it. So I'm going to keep that 2. I freaking love this pen, guys. I just love it so much. The rainbows just make my heart happy. Okay. So that's what my first step.
Ma'am.
Hi, Tiana.
Can I help, ma'am, with the answer?
Tiana, where is your hand?
Ish, no, I forgot, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. Let's not forget again, but tell me what your question is.
No, I don't have a question. I want to help answer.
Oh, no. I'm going to talk through this one just because we're running out of time.
Okay.
But thank you, sweetheart. Okay, so that's our first line there. All I did over there, guys, was I did my FOIL. So I did my first terms, my outers, my inners, my lasts. Hopefully we are feeling a little bit more comfortable with our FOIL at this point, and we've got something good going on. Okay. Then I'm going to, you can now either take your 2 in straight away, or you could simplify what's in your bracket. It's up to you. I'm going to simplify what's in my brackets, but you don't have to, okay? You could first take your 2 in. So now I've got 2 brackets, x squared minus 4 minus another 4 is going to give me minus 8. And I've got my 16y squared. And now my last step is I'm going to take this 2. I'm going to take it into everything. So I'm going to get 2x squared minus 16xy plus 32y squared. And that is my final answer. So it's not that much harder. We do the same thing we did. We start with our FOIL. Okay, this is all FOIL. Then all I did here was I added my like terms. And then I distributed the 2. Okay. Hopefully this is going okay. Can you guys give me an idea of how you're feeling with this work so far? Give me a number out of 10. Or an emoji. Number or an emoji. Either way, I'm happy. Precious, how can I help?
Hello, ma'am. How did you get the positive 32y squared?
Okay, so the positive 32 came from having this 2 over here, and I multiplied it by the 16y squared. So 2 times 16 gave me 32, and then my variable was y squared.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Sure. Bontle, how can I help?
Ma'am, can you please explain the last step again?
Okay, so in this last step, all we're doing is we're distributing that 2. So the first one is we said 2 times x squared. So that gave me this guy. Then we said 2 times negative 8, which would be negative 16. And then my variables are x, y. And then we said 2 times 16, which is 32. And my variable would be y squared. So we're just taking that 2 and we're multiplying it into all 3 terms.
Thank you.
Sure. Belinda, I love your commitment to the crying emoji. I just have to say that no matter if it's like 1,000 out of 1,000 or 0 out of 1,000, I get crying faces.
Ma'am, I wanted to ask you, ma'am.
Sure.
Oh, sorry. My grandmother is hi, ma'am.
Hi.
Sorry. So when we're distributing, ma'am, is it possible if we can, how do I say this? Like, can we distribute twice into one number? But I was just asking because I saw my teacher did that today.
Twice into one number.
Yeah.
So like a 2 into the x and then that 2 back into that x again.
Yes.
Once you've distributed it, once you've distributed it. So I can't think of an example where it would go in twice.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Puzzle brain break situation. First time here. Oh, don't panic. If it's your first time here, Remember that all of the videos are on the Watobe website, okay? And if you go onto the website and you go through this course, you'll be able to watch all the videos prior and you'll be able to get a good idea of what we've already spoken about. Okay, so it's up to you. You don't have to watch them times 1. You could watch them times 1.5 and just listen to me talk like this really, really, really fast, but you should be able to get an idea of what's going on. It might help. Okay, those of you who are new, sort of sometime during our lesson, we do a little brain break, and it's nothing to do with the class that we are, so it's going to have nothing to do with algebra. It's just something to give your brain a break from whatever we're working on. Once you have an answer, put your answer in the chat, and the first person to get it right just gets bragging rights. That's all they get, but let's see how it goes. So this is your puzzle today. Haha. I keep on being told that they're not hard enough, so I'm keeping on trying to find harder ones, and I'm hoping I finally have stumped you all. I would like to know what the answer is when I have a tomato times a mushroom plus a butternut times a mushroom. That
I'm
is
not
what I would like
confident
to know.
about this one today.
You're not what?
I'm not confident about this one today.
You will be fine. You've just got to try. Just do your best, guys. Everyone should at least be able to tell me what the apple and the, is it an apple, tomato? No, it's definitely an apple. Tell me what the apple and the butternut is. Everyone should be able to get there. Yes, okay, I'm seeing something good in the chat already. That's a good start. Okay, so we know what the apple is, which means we should be able to know what the butternut is. Didn't Claire's your hand up to give me the answer?
I think the butternut is 3.
The butternut is definitely 3. Yes, that's a good start. I'm wanting to find out what this final answer is, but what you're doing is a good start. Born Claire's your hand up to give me the answer.
No, ma'am, by mistake. I used it by mistake, my bad.
Okay, no problem. It is not 66. Oh, I think I may have stumped you guys. This is definitely the longest it's taken to get answers. It's not 12. The mushroom is not 7. Ah! Another answer's come streaming in. Who was my first one who was right though? Anum, the one and only. You've done it again. It is definitely 80. Salam, Kiara, Orinia, all of you are getting it beautifully right. It is 100% 80. Well done. Yes, guys. I'll stump you one day. One day. Okay, let's talk about how. Okay, don't worry, I don't spend a lot of time explaining how because we're going to get back to our algebra, but I'm just going to talk you through what we did here. So there are 4 apples that equal 28, which means each apple must be 7. So lots of people got to the fact that an apple is 7. So that's 7, which means that's 7. So 7 times something is 21, which means our butternut must be 3. So that's 3, and that's 3. Okay, and we know that this is 7. So now we're thinking 3 times something minus 7 gives us 17. Okay, I'm going to move my apple over and I'm going to plus that 7. So I'm going to have on this side, I'm going to have 24. So I've got a butternut times a mushroom needs to equal 24, which means my mushroom is 8. And so we have 7 times 8 plus 3 times 8. 7 times 8 is 56. 3 times 8 is 24, which means our answer is. Well done, everyone who got it. Nice job. Okay, back to algebra. Woo! Yay! Okay, I'm gonna try. I want you to try something a little bit harder. No, I want you to try this one. Okay, no. I'm gonna be nice. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put both of these up. Okay, and I want you to do both D and E. So I want you to try and work through both of them. And then I'm slowly going to put the answer up to D, and then I'll go through the answer for E. And we can see who's feeling good with this by the end of the lesson, who's feeling great. Let's get an idea of if there's been some progress within the class. Nice job, Karen. Good job. Everyone who got 80, well done, and you actually did it really fast, which is great. Okay, so give these two a try. So we're looking at D and E. It's okay, Wadile. And once you have your answers, you're welcome to post your answers in the chat, and I will write the answer for D up, and then I'll write the answer for E up. But you've done really well today, guys. Okay, got our first answers coming in for the first one. Don't feel panicked if you're not there, it's okay. Nkateko, can I help? Do you have a question?
Hi, ma'am.
Hi.
Ma'am, I don't particularly understand the FOIL, but what I prefer is like 2 times the exponent by the coefficient and variable inside the bracket.
This guy in here.
Yes.
So that you get your 6x and then you double it.
Yes.
Totally fine. 100%
Okay.
fine.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Okay, first one, 2x times 2x gives us 4x squared. 2x times 3 gives us 6x. 3 times 2x gives us 6x. 3 times 3 gives us 9. Now, another reason why I'm going to vote for saying that writing it out the long way is worth your time is that if you make a mistake in your final answer, you will get 0 marks. Whereas if you write this step out and you make a mistake in the last line, you still would get 1 mark. Because remember, in maths, we give continued accuracy marks. So you wouldn't be penalized. But if you write straight the wrong answer, you would get no marks. Okay, so that's my first one. I know there's only 10 minutes left. Our time just disappears in these lessons. I don't know what happens. Okay, those are my like terms. So I'm going to have 4x squared plus 12x plus 9. Let me know how that one went. If we got that one right, if we got it wrong, if we're happy, tell me what happened. So a question like this would be out of 2 marks because you would get a mark for working and a mark for your answer. Well done, Sebi, nice. And if you just went straight to the answer, you would just get 2 marks for your answer. But if you got it wrong, you would get 0.
I think maybe Kateko has a question.
Oh, sorry. Okay, Teko, can I help?
No, it's fine. Now I'm fine.
Okay. Just gonna lower your hand, okay? Okay. Nice job, guys. Getting it. Sebi, can I help?
Ma'am, can I ask a question?
Of course.
If you do the short version of FOIL, would you still get full marks even if you got it like right?
Yes. So if it's right and you did it the short version, you would 100% get 2 out of 2. But if you get it wrong, you would get 0 out of 2. Okay. Okay, guys. I'm just gonna quickly zoom through E because I'm gonna have to leave you for my grade 10s. I'm just gonna make sure that you all get to see this answer before I disappear. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do my FOIL over here. So I'm gonna have 2 bracket 3a times 3a gives me 9a squared. Then I'm going to have negative 6ay, negative 6ay, positive 4y squared. Okay. I'm going to add these like terms. You don't have to do that in this step, but I think it's a little bit easier. So 9a squared minus 12ay plus 4y squared. And then my last step is I'm going to take this 2, my 9, and I'm going to distribute it to everyone. And when I say distribute, I just mean multiply. I have to leave you guys. I've got to go to my next class. 2 times 9a gives me 18a squared. 2 times negative 12 gives me negative 24ay. And 2 times 4 gives me positive 8y. And that is our answers for D and E. How did it go? Mila, how can I help?
Ma'am, when you times it, shouldn't you also like add 2 to the exponents, or you
No,
just
so
leave them as is?
Yeah, so our exponents only change when we multiply them together. So like x times x will become x squared. But if I said like 2 times x, that would just be 2x. The exponent will stay the same.
So the exponent doesn't change, only the variable.
Only the variable. Only the constant, the number, the coefficient.
Oh yeah, the constant.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Nice job, guys. The signs will come. Just remember, practicing signs will come. Buntle, last question of the night. How can I help?
Ma'am, it's just the signs that keep making me confused, and I didn't get them right this day. So I think I need more work on them. So yeah.
Okay. You know what I think you should do is try and rewatch the previous videos, but try and do the question by yourself, and then you just play it and watch it basically like a memo, because then you can see where you're going right and wrong.
Alright, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Guys, the 4y came from the negative 2y times the negative 2y. That was 4y. Okay, guys, I'm going to leave you with the glorious Courtney and you, Linda, and if you have any last questions, they will help you out. I've got to get to my grade 10s. I love you all, and I will see you on Thursday. But stay here because they're going to do a poll, so don't move anywhere. Okay.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am.